Hey, fellows and ladies, it's Saturday, and that means it is time for me to talk about an episode of an animated superhero TV show. And this week, that show is The Legion of Superheroes, with the episode Brain Drain. Before I delve into my thoughts on this episode, I will quickly talk about what happened in the episode, just in case you have not seen it. Brainiac 5 tells his teammates that he is about to go into a state of mind where all Coluans, no matter where they are in a galaxy, link up their minds and share information. Since Brainiac 5 has separated himself from Coluan society, this will be painful and embarrassing for him. The process ends, but Brainy is still acting wacky. The Legionnaires have to put his mind near a substance called Zunium, and that will restore his mind. If they don't, he will die. They do this, and everything works out in the end. Cue credits. Before I even started watching this episode, I was worried that it was going to be awful. The last couple of episodes have been pretty inconsistent, but none of them have absolutely blown me away, even at their best. And with the title of this episode, I assumed that Brainiac 5 was going to be central here, and I wasn't especially looking forward to that. I haven't really liked Brainy in the episodes where he is heavily featured, if I'm being honest. Most of the time, he's just insufferably whiny and more than a little bit arrogant. And sure, giving a character faults will make them feel more like a real person, but that doesn't necessarily make me want to follow that character around, does it? I mean, there are plenty of real people who are insufferably whiny and arrogant, and I wouldn't want to follow them around. So without any redeeming qualities, which I have yet to see in this version of Brainiac, I consider him a nuisance who I would not be reading or watching if he was the full-on protagonist of this series. Fortunately for me, this is an ensemble show, and he is sometimes in the foreground and sometimes in the background. This episode, oddly enough, doesn't really make me hate him at all. When he was explaining to the Legion about this hive mind thing, I immediately groaned. Oh no, here they go, trying to make the Coluans into full-on Vulcans. I've said before that I don't really have to have the Vulcans and the Coluans be essentially the same species, as I feel that illuminates a lack of creativity here. But apparently the Vulcans go into Ponfar all at the same time, and so the Coluans do as well, except without the sex. But after the initial discomfort, I really loved this version of Brainy. When it first started happening, I groaned again. Oh no, we're going to have wacky Brainy who shouts random nonsensical phrases and is annoying. But most of the things wacky Brainy says are actually pretty funny, and it's done in enough moderation that it doesn't make me wish that I had Hemlock in my water bottle. We even get some odd foreshadowing / backshadowings of Superman lore in the form of red solar radiation, which is fully explained at the end of the episode, as well as various forms of kryptonite, which Superman just assumes is more nonsense talk from wacky Brainy, and doesn't actually mean anything. I assume this will come back to bite both Brainy and Superman later on, as this is the second time that Brainy has demonstrated a knowledge of kryptonite and has not told Superman about it. One thing I do find odd is that Brainiac tells his friends that he has separated himself from the rest of Colu, which we have seen tiny hints of in previous episodes, like Fear Factory. But for some reason, he's still susceptible to the things that happen to the rest of his society. So what exactly went into him, air quotes, separating himself from this society, and did it even work if he's still part of this madness? I realize that this has to happen in order for the thing to go wrong so that we can have a story, but it seems a little too vague for my taste. Sadly, in the span of 22 minutes, we are not going to get an explanation on what all went into Brainy separating himself from the rest of his society. Still, it does make for a nice deep plot hole here. The episode also provides some nice moments between Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, though not a whole lot happens other than having to capture Brainiac 5's runaway body. I am kinda shocked that this show hasn't tried to force these two into a relationship, since most people watching this, especially if they're fans of the comics, know that these two are traditionally a couple in the comics. In fact, I can't even think of a time when they aren't a couple, but admittedly, I'm not a regular reader of the Legion of Superheroes. Anyway, I do like that this is the first time that we get these two together, really, and I think it's kinda neat that we're sorta hinting that they might get together at some point, but it's not really in our face like I would expect it to be in a children's cartoon. Aside from me not hating Brainiac 5 and the brief scenes of Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl, we also get to see that Superboy is willing to risk his life to save Brainy's, and Timberwolf is an absolute machine when they are on Zune. Not much else happening here, really. Overall, I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. This is maybe my favorite episode so far. I know I've liked a few of the earlier episodes, and I'd have to go back and see if this episode holds up as well as some of those, but this is definitely a high note compared to the last few episodes I've seen. So I am much more looking forward to what is in store for the next few episodes. As for next Saturday, I will be covering the two-part Batman the Animated Series episode, The Cat and the Claw, and the following week I will be back here for another review of the Legion of Superheroes. And also, throughout the week, I've got videos lined up for you guys, so feel free to come and check those out. Or if you can like, share, comment, and subscribe so you can be certain that you won't miss anything from this corner of YouTube. Until then, I'll see you guys next time with another video. Have a great day.